I'm Allison LaForgia with HousingWire, and today I am so excited to talk to Dr. Olav Laudy from Tavant. How are you today?
Very well, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
So, I am excited to talk to you, and let's start with your journey into mortgage technology and how you became focused on AI-driven solutions for mortgage.
Right. So I think I am a traditionally machine learning guy. So then naturally you get into AI, right? When machine learning transferred into the AI domain. I joined Tavant, and Tavant has a mortgage arm, and naturally I was curious on how the things were already automated and how I could help automate that more using AI.
Now, when it comes to AI and mortgage specifically, our industry has a lot of hype. So I'm really interested in hearing how it's different for Tavant in their approach to AI implementation and how Tavant has strategic solutions to solve real friction points when looking at AI technology.
Right. So I think the key is understand the mortgage process as professionals act, right? And we deploy a lot of actual mortgage professionals, people with business backgrounds in mortgage. They understand what the friction points are. So when I propose something, they can say yay or nay to it, and that allows me to develop in the right direction. Well, other than that, from an AI point of view, we're never deploying AI for the sake of AI. You need to deploy AI because it solves indeed what you correctly mentioned, a friction point. Anything that takes a lot of time for someone can be potentially enhanced by an AI feature. We're not looking to replace uh, underwriters or lenders in entirety, right? We're looking to enhance the process so that those people can do their work better, faster, smarter.
That is very interesting. So it sounds like there's really a meeting of the minds in Tavant's approach to AI. You have a full understanding of the process, and then you have a subject matter expert like you who says, okay, where can we alleviate some of these pain points to make the people better? So I'm really excited to dig into that a little bit more. Can you share an example where AI streamlines tasks for the loan officers or for the underwriters in this process?
Yeah, so here's a very simple example, right? An underwriter typically is asked by a loan officer, hey, can you tell me the status of the loan, right? So that's a very common question. So what does the loan officer, what does the underwriter need to do? They go into the loan, they kind of look what is missing, what is the status, where we are, how much still need to be done, and then that is one task, and then they have to kind of all write that up and send it to the loan officer. So a simple email like that will take, if done properly, 20 minutes. If you take 3 minutes for it, you're basically just saying like, okay, it's fine, don't worry about it, right? But that is also not fair to the loan officer. So an AI, an agent that is aware of the loan, can do that searching, right? So we have built this, and it is an AI set that's called Chat with Loan, right? And you go in there, say like, write a note for the loan officer. The AI reviews all the elements in the loan, what is missing, what is the status, what is the time to close, etc., and then writes that email as an update for the loan officer. The underwriter, and this is a very important point, looks through that email, says like, this is right or this is not right, this is what I do want to say or not, has the ability to update something, so this is the human in the loop, and once done says click send. And that process now in its entirety will take 3 minutes instead of the 20 minutes. But in those 3 minutes, a complete email is actually being compiled and something that is relevant and useful for the loan officer.
And that's just across one file, which is fantastic. So if you can save just, I mean, what sounds like upwards of you're cutting 75% of the time out of it for multiple files, it sounds like a massive time saving, which is fantastic for everybody who's involved in processing that loan. So I'm really
Yeah,
curious if you could
exactly.
tell me about how this extends over to the borrower experience, especially for consumers who we know are now remote, time constraint, or even managing a complex financial situation.
Right. So we have our mortgage avatar called Maya, and Maya uh, basically accompanies you from the start of your loan all the way till the end, and into the servicing end of it. So when you start your mortgage application, Maya greets you and will basically introduce herself, letting you know what she can do, right? What she can do is very clear. She's not allowed to say like, oh, I can give you this mortgage for X% of interest rate. But what she can do is help you fill out forms, answer questions along the way, and do the important checks. And so, for example, if you need to upload a 1040 text document, and you upload a different text document or a different year or something else, right? It is immediately noticed, and then that gets fed back to you. So like, well, this is not the right document. Now, if you compare this to the traditional way, normally you would upload the document and then that goes to a loan officer. Either the loan officer sees that or not, goes to the underwriter. Then that goes, the underwriter says, yeah, but this is not what I need. And now this whole hop needs to hop back, and that gets 2, 3 days down back to the borrower. The borrower lives in anxiety, thinking like, oh, will I get my loan or not? Or even worse, has a parallel track with another lender, is exploring that, and maybe if that goes faster, he will drop you, right? So the here you see an avatar that is truly functional in doing things for you at the moment that you need it. Another example is the clearing of conditions after they get access to your bank transactions, for example. This is a very common hurdle for people. They need to write a gift letter, or they need to explain some transactions. Well, if an avatar kind of scans your bank transactions and says like, "Can you already explain me this?" Because I know that we're gonna get answers, questions around this. You just save valuable time for both the borrower as well as the underwriter.
That sounds like some really fantastic improvements that are now enabled by utilizing AI in the borrower experience. However, the industry at large has some concerns around compliance, safety, and usability. How would you address those concerns?
Right. So I think the compliance is, uh, if you compare, um, if you would replace the word AI by computer, right? And you would kind of realize how people are freaking out over, oh, compliance. What happens if you have an AI do this, right? What happens if you have a computer do this, as compared to the previous process where people would write everything out. So obviously, it is not the computer who decides who gets a loan or not, but the computer makes the whole process very smooth and frictionless. And so with AI in place, that is an even further enhancement of that process. So you always have a human in the loop, and you always have things tested, and make sure that nothing goes wrong here. So I think the human in the loop, as a final approver, is key to this whole process, and not thinking that you just hand it off to a big machine and then you hope for the best. The other point is obviously like, you do deep user research, right? Experiments to make sure we're actually conducting one at the moment to see if people would like to see an avatar on screen, or they would like to see a speech avatar. So you kind of see some waves on the screen if the avatar is speaking, and then how that functions. If they do have questions for this avatar, if they feel that the avatar can help them in that process or not, or would they, for example, rather type something in, right? It can well be that for certain groups of users or borrowers, they would rather kind of ask a question and not have a presence on the screen. Personally, when I looked at this, I find an avatar at the screen and filling out forms with me and for me is lovely, right? So if I can just talk to my computer and say, okay, can you fill this out? Can you fill this out? Or if I'm not entirely sure what I need to fill out, I can ask questions or I can describe what I want, and the avatar is smart enough to take from what I describe and then fill the form for me. I think that is the next level of interaction. But we're testing that out as we speak to see what is the best way, and even let people choose their mode of interaction with this process.
You just mentioned a couple features that you're looking at implementing and testing. How do you see AI continuing to transform mortgage operations and borrower engagement? And what innovations are you most excited about?
Well, we're currently, apart from the voice interaction, which just matured, I guess, in the last half year, we're exploring something that we refer to as policy as code. And so traditionally, you would have like all your guidelines. And if you were to automate that, you would have to translate them into a computer readable rule set. And that rule set can be used in a scoring or a rule engine to test against like the actual mortgage details of a borrower. When you have something like policy as code, you're just kind of omitting that complete step, right? You have the borrower's details and you have your guidelines and you have an AI that very smartly goes through this. Now, obviously, you cannot, if you try to kind of think about this, it is not that you have like a chat GPT and you provide your complete say guideline document or guidelines documents, right, into ChatGPT, and on the you add all your borrower information and you ask the AI, please figure this out. Right? That's not how it works. You still need to kind of cut things up in manageable bite-size chunks and then ask that to the AI. But you'd be surprised how strong AIs are today to take very complex rules and then apply certain conditions to that and data to that to see if things work out or not. In fact, so much so that if I try this out and I'm working with those complex rule sets, that I will need to really sit down and 5 minutes kind of compare details to understand the complex conditions, whether they apply or not. And you provide that to an agent and the agent says, okay, here you are, this is the outcome. And so I think that will lead to much faster processing as well as much more concise compliance.
Dr. Laudy, thank you so much for walking us through Tavant's approach to strategic AI implementation in mortgage. It sounds like there's so much that you guys have accomplished in such a short period of time. I'm so excited to see what the future brings. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.